Caroline.
Yes, I just wanted to come back to something that you touched on, Mr. Smith, sort of earlier on, about the pathway that children take through the education system and whether they are sort of aiming for university or whether they're looking at other careers. And I wondered whether you felt that the sort of the whole sort of education system in this country has kind of moved too much in one direction, where the goal is university, and we've kind of lost sight of the attraction of other types of careers for children, and they don't go through the system thinking that could actually be a really good pathway for me, particularly if they're not so academic. So I'd just be really interested to hear your thoughts on how you think we can rebalance that, and whether you think it is necessary. And we're not going to have the skills that the country needs unless we have a strong further education system. I mean, it's quite clear that it is struggling financially, but also it needs to attract good staff. It needs to have a kudos that it doesn't have at the moment. So presumably that is part of Skills England's mission, to say that there's a whole other world out there that we're just not focusing on in this country.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, as we've said previously, we want to give people a sense of where the real jobs are and the real opportunities are. That isn't necessarily tied to individual institutions per se. I mean, because there are obviously private provision. There's apprenticeships that can be done in many environments. But I think the important thing is, as you said, is that we're actually showing young people in this particular context, what the pathways are and what is a good job to go for, and not simply saying if you don't go to university you're not going to get a job, because actually there are many people who are getting very valuable jobs in sometimes with degrees associated but sometimes without, and moving into the system. So that is important, and I think from our perspective we want to provide the data and the real focus areas to try and solve this problem. What is the issue? Is it because young people don't understand what apprenticeships are versus university, that parents don't understand what apprenticeships are? What's the data for that, and how can we show where that is nationally and regionally, and then start to address those issues and say, what can we do about that? How do we help people to get onto the right pathways that give them the right job?